So my role has just been taken over by AI.
Huge news for NVIDIA stock today and why it could get to $300 per share easily.
This is the week that I declare that UK will be an AI superpower.
This one gave me long-term growth. So think of companies like Apple, Microsoft, and NVIDIA.
In the month from September to October, how many jobs do you think I applied to? 133 jobs.
Analysts believe the AI bubble is 17 times the size of the dot-com bubble and 4 times the size of the 2008 global real estate crisis, all due to one thing: greed. At the center of all of this is OpenAI. They're doing what is known as circular deals. Let me break it down. A company invests in OpenAI, then OpenAI immediately uses that exact money to buy products from the same company that just invested in them. What we have to keep in mind throughout this entire video is OpenAI is not profitable. They're hemorrhaging money set to burn through $115 billion through 2029. So how exactly are they signing these multi-billion-dollar deals? That's where it gets insane. Let's start with Microsoft. They've pumped over $13 billion into OpenAI. In return, Microsoft gets 20% of OpenAI's revenue. But here's the accounting trick. Microsoft is booking OpenAI's revenue as their own cloud revenue. When OpenAI pays Microsoft for cloud services with Microsoft's own investment money, Microsoft counts that as growth. Imagine if I gave you $100 and you gave that same $100 bill back to me and we both say that we made $100. That's exactly what's happening here, except with hundreds of billions of dollars.
Here you go.
Thank you so much. Here you go.
Thanks. Thanks so much. Here you go.
Thank you so much. Here you go.
Thanks. Thank you.
But the Microsoft deal isn't even the most concerning. OpenAI just signed a deal with Oracle to pay them $300 billion over the next 5 years. Let me repeat that. A company that will lose $8.5 billion this year just agreed to a $300 billion deal. Even Sam Altman admits that OpenAI won't be profitable until 2029, but that's not stopping him from writing checks that he can't pay. But the insanity continues. Oracle is spending billions to buy chips from NVIDIA, and NVIDIA, they just agreed to invest up to $100 billion in OpenAI. Guess what OpenAI does with that money? They buy NVIDIA chips. NVIDIA invests into OpenAI. OpenAI then takes that money and purchases chips from NVIDIA. NVIDIA's revenue increases and therefore their stock price shoots up, and it looks like everyone's retirement account is doing great.
This is your captain speaking. The system appears to be operating as intended. The market seems to be regulating itself. We've successfully avoided a bubble. It should be smooth sailing from here on out.
But here's where the desperation starts to show. On September 22nd, the NVIDIA and OpenAI deal was announced. Just 14 days later, Sam Altman announced a deal with AMD, NVIDIA's direct competitor. AMD handed over a warrant for up to 160 million shares, potentially 10% of their entire company. In exchange, OpenAI promises to buy 6 gigawatts of AMD GPUs. With what money? They're burning through billions every year. When NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang was asked if he knew about these deals between OpenAI and AMD, he responded, not really. Sam Altman is speed dating these investors like someone who knows the music is about to stop. He's signing these massive deals knowing OpenAI doesn't have the money to pay for them. So how does he actually plan to pay for these? With more investors. It starts looking a little bit like a Ponzi scheme. And despite not having the cash flow to pay for current deals, Sam Altman himself just said we can expect more.
We have decided that it is time to go make a very aggressive infrastructure bet. I've never been more confident in the research roadmap in front of us and also the economic value that will come from using those models. But to make the bet at this scale, we kind of need the whole industry a big chunk of the industry to support it. We're going to partner with a lot of people. You should expect much more from us in the coming months.
And we did see more. Broadcom and OpenAI just announced further collaboration. It's reported that OpenAI will pay up to $500 billion for custom chips to power ChatGPT. This now means for 2025 alone, OpenAI has committed to pay, on the conservative end, $1.3 trillion. $1.3 trillion, a company that will lose $8.5 billion this year. To put $1.3 trillion into perspective, the US government spent $1.2 trillion on defense in 2024. Walmart partners with OpenAI to create AI-first shopping experiences. I can't even get through this video without them announcing a new deal or partnership. It's insane. And it's not just OpenAI. Anthropic just announced partnerships with IBM and Deloitte, and they already have previous investments from Amazon and Google. The entire AI industry is playing musical chairs with the same pile of money. But here's the part that honestly terrifies me. The Magnificent Seven, Apple, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Amazon, Meta, Google, and Tesla, these 7 companies alone make up 34% of the S&P 500's entire value. Think about that. The S&P 500 is supposed to track 500 different companies. It's supposed to give diversification and safety, yet 7 out of 500 make up over a third of its entire value. And all 7 of these companies have AI deals. If you have a 401k, a pension, a target date fund, or literally any type of retirement account, your retirement funds are riding on Sam Altman's ability to keep finding new investors. Because the reality is, if we take away the Magnificent Seven from the S&P 500, the stock market actually hasn't grown in the last 2 years. Over the last 3 decades, we've had a financial crisis for almost each decade. The dot-com bubble led to the 2000 financial crash. Then we had the 2008 global real estate crash. And then 2019, we had the pandemic, which also led to a financial crash. So we're on track to have a 4th one, but this one feels a lot different. During the dot-com bubble, companies with no revenue and no business model, just a .com in their name, received millions in funding. The bubble mostly hit tech investors, although unemployment did go up to 6.3%, but if you weren't in tech, then you were mostly okay. The 2008 real estate bubble was bigger. 16.4 trillion in household wealth vaporized, unemployment hit 10%, close to 10 million families lost homes.
Hey, can I buy a house? Sure, I'll loan you $500,000. Wow, that seems excessive. Are you sure? Definitely. Housing prices are through the roof. You're gonna need big money if you want to afford a house nowadays. I guess. Plus, they call me a subprime lender. We're targeting you specifically because you're low income and have a bad credit score. Wait, what? Also, we're pleased to offer you an adjustable rate mortgage. They are all the rage right now. Adjustable what? Basically, your interest rate starts low down here, so your monthly payment is low, and then after a few years, it shoots up like this, so you can't afford your house anymore. This sounds like a horrible idea. Oh, come on, just sign here. Real estate only goes up. What could go wrong?
We still haven't recovered from 2008, by the way. The federal minimum wage was last raised in 2009 when it went up from $6.55 to $7.25, while everything else got more expensive. Then there was the COVID crash. We saw the unemployment spike to 14.7%, and again, people lost their homes. Billionaires bought them up and saw their wealth skyrocket 58%, while the rest of us were struggling to purchase groceries. But this AI bubble is different because it's not contained to one sector as we've seen in the past. Every developed nation is all in on AI. They're all drinking the AI Kool-Aid. Through the Stargate project, OpenAI is building AI data centers in the US, Norway, Abu Dhabi, with other undisclosed locations around the world. All while the global economy hasn't even recovered from COVID. Here in Sweden, we're in a recession. Germany, the largest economy in Europe, is in a recession. Inflation is out of control, housing is unaffordable, and unemployment keeps rising. Now we're adding AI onto all of this. And AI has infected every industry. Healthcare is using it for diagnostics, insurance companies use it to jack up your premiums, schools use it to grade your kids, power grids, supply chains. Even the US government has invested $328 billion, and that's just between 2019 and 2023. When the music stops and the AI hype dies, it won't just be these tech bros who have been pumping up the stock market who suffer. We're all going to experience mass layoffs, foreclosures, unfinished data centers, and taxpayers bailing out these AI companies because we're far beyond the too big to fail levels. I recognize that after the dot-com bubble, we kept the internet. But look at it now. It's bots, AI slop, and corporate surveillance. It's nothing like the vision Tim Berners-Lee had for human connection. And realistically, what's the end goal with AI? We were told that AI would do the boring things so that we could focus on being creative. Yet so far, AI is replacing entry-level jobs, and employees are having to do more work with less colleagues. They keep telling us AI is going to benefit humanity, yet we've yet to see anything that resembles a utopia. And while these executives are fueling this AI hype, tech investors are happily throwing millions of dollars at anything with AI in the name. Take Lovable. They claimed anyone could build software just by chatting with AI. Investors threw $200 million at them. They valued them at $1.8 billion just after 8 months. Let's see how they're doing now. According to Crust data, web traffic to Lovable has dropped roughly 49% in 4 months. The insane part of all of this is that corporations are already saying they're not seeing a return on their AI investments. MIT research found that 95% of companies using generative AI have yet to see a measurable return. We also see AI adoption rates declining for larger firms. Now, we don't actually know when this bubble will burst, but what we do know is who will pay for it. During the 2008 real estate crash, people who didn't even own a home still lost their jobs. US taxpayers paid the banks $498 billion to bail them out, even though they were the ones who caused the real estate crash. Now, people often ask if companies lay off in favor of AI and nobody has a job, no one's making money, who's going to buy the products? The reality is they've already considered these outcomes. They've ran their forecasts and they've played out these scenarios. That's why Mark Zuckerberg has a 1,400-acre compound in Hawaii with underground shelter.
You do have a bunker there. Is there something you know that we don't?
No, I think that's just like a little shelter under, and it's like a basement.
A little shelter. What are you worried about?
It's a basement.
H&N obtained the county's planning documents that show a nearly 4,500 square foot underground storm shelter. That's about the size of an NBA basketball court and about 2/3 the square footage of Iolani Palace.
And Sam Altman reportedly has a deal with Peter Thiel to take him to New Zealand in case of an apocalyptic event.
A lot of these guys have bunkers. Zucky has a bunkie. I know that somewhere out in Hawaii. Do you have a bunker?
I have like underground concrete heavy reinforced basements, but I don't have anything I would call a bunker.
Hold on, dude.
What's the difference between a basement and a bunker?
A place you could hide when it all goes off or whatever.
I have been thinking I should really do a good version of one of those, but okay. I don't have what I would call a bunker, but it has been on my mind.
Douglas Rushkoff has wrote about how these billionaires understand the world that they're building.
Right, so they wanted to know mainly how to prepare for the inevitable collapse of society. It just struck me that here are the wealthiest and most powerful men I've ever encountered, yet they feel utterly powerless to influence the digital future, that the best they can do is prepare for the inevitable collapse and, insulate themselves from the reality that they're creating by earning money in the way they're earning it.
Then there's journalist Karen Howe. She reported that Ilya Sutskever, OpenAI's former chief scientist, discussed building an underground shelter for OpenAI's top scientists before they released AGI to the world. Even one of their own, Reid Hoffman, he's the co-founder of LinkedIn, claims that half of his billionaire friends have some type of secret hideaway or they're planning one. This is becoming so common they call it apocalypse insurance. These tech billionaires are actively creating the Hunger Games, and they're using their money today while it still has value to purchase security in bunkers. They want to protect themselves from the very people they're extracting all of their wealth from. They're hoping to release superintelligence into the world and effectively replace humans, and they're paranoid that we're eventually going to turn on them the same way the French did during the French Revolution. And while the French had a monarchy that they overthrew, what we have today isn't that much different. Instead, we have tech overlords. It's techno-feudalism. They try to convince us that we're better off than previous generations because we have the internet and ChatGPT.
If I were 22 right now and graduating college, I would feel like the luckiest kid in all of history.
Why?
Because there's never been a more amazing time to go create something totally new, to go invent something, to start a company, whatever it is. That is like a crazy thing. You have access to tools that can let you do what used to take teams of hundreds. And you just have to learn how to use these tools and come up with a great idea. And it's like quite amazing.
Yet wages are stagnant, people can't buy a home, and the birth rates are declining because no one can afford children anymore. But who needs a livable wage when you can just talk to your best friend, ChatGPT? I mean, we should be internally grateful. While we're distracted on the technology they built to entertain us, these same tech overlords are interfering in governments. They're creating surveillance technology that more and more governments are deploying against their citizens, and they're arguably becoming more powerful than the government itself. This isn't a market failure. This is tech billionaires extracting the last drops of wealth from a dying system.